All right, so welcome. I am Nancy from Nancy Inspired, and for those of you that don't know me, I have a gift that I call soul telepathy. I'm able to hear what your own soul is trying to tell you for your highest and best good in your own evolution. When I'm doing a collective reading like this, I tap into the whole group and what is the most important messaging for all of us here today. And so we're just going to start with a little clearing and connecting. So I'm just going to ask for permission. Can I, may I, and shall I do a reading for my Insight Timer friends and family, both those that are listening now and those that show up later? Clear, yes. Is there any reason why I shouldn't at this moment in time? A little tired this morning, so I was like, no, it's switching. All right. So nope, there's no reason why I shouldn't at this moment in time. So then I'm just going to invite everybody to clear. We're just going to clear away anything that doesn't serve this particular group at this moment in time. So we're going to just cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits on all levels for our highest and best good. Imagine, if you can, if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes and imagine that there is a blue-white light swirling around you. Wow, we got lots of clearing today. There's lots of energy going. Just going to move my arm a little bit. So we're just going to cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits on all levels for our highest and best good. We're just clearing out anything that doesn't belong in this container, in this space at this moment in time. Anything extra, residual. All right, there we go. All done. And I'm just going to ask that we fill this space with love and light and blessing, and we create a little container, a little armor, so that only what is in everybody's highest, best good is welcome here at this moment in time. All right, so I'm actually here to tell you why I do that now. So some of you have been with me for a long time. There was a live, a while ago now. I have no sense of time, but it was a while ago now. That there was just some interesting, interfering, kind of lower vibrational energy that showed up. And it reminded me that as someone who is opening a space, that it's my job to keep my listeners safe from anything like that. So now I do a little clearing and I create a little bubble so that only what is in our highest and best good is welcome. And all right, that's actually our first messaging for today, is that at this time of year, especially, but also because of things going on, it's important that we do clearing. So nothing to be afraid of. It's no different than if you're on a walk on a sidewalk and you accidentally step in some gum and it gets stuck on your shoe. Well, if you don't clear that away and you walk into your house, you bring the gum into the house or whatever. Or let's use dog poop. If you accidentally step in some dog poop and you don't clear it off your shoe, it gets carried into your home or your space. So as we are out and about in the world, interacting, doing our thing, we are picking up energetic dog poop. And it's important that you do some type of clearing. And I'm also hearing this time of year, the veil between worlds is thinner. And it's also important to clear away any energies you do not want to carry with you, anything that is not serving you. Now, clearing doesn't have to be a big ritual, a big practice, it can be as simple and easy as taking some deep breaths and just releasing everything that doesn't serve you. It could be imagining, like I do, a white light, a blue-white light swirling around me counterclockwise, clearing everything out. It can be more elaborate. Some cultures will use smudge, either with sage or sweetgrass. If you are on the witchy side of things, you might burn a black candle or create wreaths. These are my little protection wreaths that I make for friends and family. So it's more about the intention is what I'm hearing. When you set the intention to send away anything that doesn't serve you, it automatically goes away. So it's not just, it doesn't have to be a big elaborate process. It can be as simple as I'm just clearing away anything that doesn't serve me right now. Send it away. I always add, when I do my clearing meditations, I always add that I send it to the feet of God. Lower vibrational energy isn't bad energy. I mean, depending on what you're practicing and whatnot, there are entity energies, something that are not for us. I always describe it as bugs. When you don't know what a bug does, you can be scared of it. I remember when I was in France, when I was, I think I was 18, and we went on a picnic, and there was a bug that I did not know what it did, and it was huge. It like circled around, and I was terrified of it because I didn't know what it did. Did it sting? Did it bite? I don't know. It was this big blue bug. So anyone that lives in France, if you know what I'm talking about, it was this giant, it looked like a bumblebee, but it was blue, and it like hovered around, and I was terrified of it. And then the people that I was there with, they were like, oh, I can't remember what they called it, but they were super excited about this bug. And so I use that analogy, and that sometimes lower vibrational energy that comes to us, we might feel afraid of it because it's not for us and we don't understand it. So I always repel that energy that isn't for me, and I always say I send it to the feet of God or to divine source, where it can be transmuted into love. And so whatever your practice is for cleansing, clearing, and protecting, I am hearing that it's very important. So I'm just gonna peek here at the chat. Hello everybody. Hello Jay and Leslie. Palo Santo is another good one for clearing. Yes, wonderful. Visualization with light, as well as an angel in my door. Absolutely. Hello, Leslie. Welcome. First time. Fabulous. I love having first time people. I love having all my old people. I just love you all. Yeah, it was a weird, that's the best way I just could describe it. This giant big blue bumblebee that like buzzed around. I never knew what it was exactly. All right, so working on clearing. All right. So I'm also hearing to tell you a story. Okay, this also has to do with clearing. I think we're going to be talking about clearing a bit today. So my granddaughter was having some issues with some kids at daycare, and not bad kids, just kids that, there's no bad kids, but just kids that maybe haven't had a lot of boundaries. And my granddaughter was working at trying to figure this out because some of them were not very kind and whatnot. And so I've taught her about your bubble, that you have a bubble of your energy, and you can use that bubble to protect yourself and to surround yourself with light. And I said, you can also repel people with your bubble. So I said, you imagine your bubble, and when you are giving a firm and clear direction, like you're not allowed to speak to me that way, or whatever, you're in my space, you need to move, or whatever it is that you have to say, you can use that bubble and actually use it to push energetically away. So you don't actually physically have to use your body to push away. You can use your energy to push away. And I taught her that. And then she was at daycare, and she ended up using it, where she said she imagined that she had this bubble in it. And when she said, you're not allowed to talk to me that way, she used that energy to push it out as well. And she said it took a couple times, but then the girl went away and played somewhere else. So that's what I'm hearing, is that right now there is a lot going on, both energetically and physically. And it's important to hone your clearing practice. Maybe it's when you're having a shower, or a bath, and you visually, you visualize clearing away any energy that doesn't serve you. Maybe it's simply taking some deep breaths, and as you exhale, you're exhaling anything that doesn't serve you. But I'm hearing the reminder that we need to be conscious with our practice. I know I get lazy with it sometimes, and sometimes I'm clearing regularly, and then sometimes I forget to do that. usually that's when I start to feel tired and I start to feel overwhelmed and I feel tired and I feel maybe a bit of anxiousness or whatever. And then I'm reminded to clear. So whatever your clearing practice is, there's also lots on Insight Timer here. There's, I have one, it's called Cleansing, Clearing, and Protecting, but there are lots that you can look at. But honestly, something as simple as just taking some deep breaths. So I'm hearing it's important to cleanse, clear, and balance your energy at this time. I'm just going to take a look at the chat here. There, you just burnt some Palo Santo right before this session. It's the first time in a long time, so maybe I read you already. You know what? This is energy. This is wisdom that I am channeling. So whatever the reason, if you've been called to do some extra clearing, it's probably the same messaging that I'm connecting to. So absolutely, I totally believe that. A violet carpenter bee. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because yeah, it was giant. Carolina, hello dear Nancy. Thank you for sharing from your life, your resources, and your beautiful energy test here. Oh, always uplifting to attend. Nowhere else in ordinary day life in our society's everyday machinery can I experience enriching essence like here. Much love to you all and your loved ones. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Carolina. You're so eloquent. Honestly, I can't wait for your first book. Carolina's a writer. I'm not actually sure she's a writer, but she should be a writer if she's not already. And I will advertise and endorse your first book. 100%. All right. Let me hear what else is next. So cleansing, clearing for sure. What else? All right. What I'm hearing is also at this time, your intuition is on high. Your intuition is more alert, alive, and on point at this time for whatever reason. I'm hearing it has to do with what's happening cosmically. One of these days I'm actually going to start investigating what happens cosmically, because I often get messaging saying that stuff is happening cosmically that is interacting with us, but I never know what it is. But right now there is stuff happening cosmically that our intuition is on high. And so right now I'm hearing, trust your intuition. If you are getting little nudges, little bits of guidance, little bits of things, trust that it is happening, that it is real, that that you are being communicated with. Sorry, my cat is, what are you doing? My cat has decided to put herself completely into my little laptop Ziploc bag. Actually, I'm just going to show you. Hold on a second. There you go. I don't know if you can see it, but there we go. All right. Crazy. All right. Where was I? Intuition. Your intuition is on high right now. Now, if you get a little nudge, oh, I'm hearing to tell you a story. Oh, this is not a nice story. But I'm hearing to tell you it. So when I was 15 or 16 is the first time that I really had an experience where my intuition was like on point, and I actually argued with my friends. So we were out, I was with my friends, we were in high school at the time, and we were at a big mall. We've got a giant mall where I live, and it has like a amusement park inside of it. And we were actually in line to go on the roller coaster. And we were like next in line. Bug, stop it. We were next in line, and or like couple people, like the next ride would have been our ride. And I was filled with an overwhelming sense of, we need to go right now. And so I said that to my friends who are in line for this roller coaster, and we'd been in line, and I said, no, we have to go. I just feel it. And at that time I hadn't really honed my gift per se, but I just was like, we have to go. And they were mad at me, and I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to go by myself. If you guys don't want to come with me, you don't have to, but I just feel like we got to go. Something like we got to go. And so I started to leave, and I was determined I was going to walk home if I had to, but I was leaving. And my friends reluctantly and angrily at the time, they were mad at me, left. And before we reached the entrance to the mall, we heard sirens and like tons of sirens and things going on. And we found out that the ride that we would have been on, the ride actually broke and killed 4 people. So I'm hearing to tell you that. Yes, it's a very dramatic story and one I haven't thought about for years, but I trusted my gut, even though I didn't have anything to say why we should leave. I had an overwhelming sense that we had to go, and luckily they listened to me and weren't on that ride. But that's what I'm hearing right now, is trust your gut. And even if you never find out why, that was dramatic, we did find out why, but even if you never find out why, if your gut is saying, don't be here or be somewhere else or something like that, that's what I'm hearing right now. Ooh, I'm actually kind of getting hit with it, like extra energy. Listen to your gut. If your gut says something, this is just not right, listen to it, because you may never know why, but listen to it. Now, what I'm hearing is some people asking the question, how do you know whether it's your anxiety or whether it's real information? Very good question. I have how I would answer that, but I'm just going to ask, since I am channeling, what is the information for that? How do you know the difference? I knew I was going to say that. In your body knows the difference. Anxiety comes from here, your solar plexus. It's this created sense of maybe it's from intrusive thoughts, maybe it's from experience, maybe it's from, but it comes from the solar plexus. What I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is that your body knows when it's a deeper sense of meaning. Your body knows when there's a deeper sense of what's going on. So in that particular instance, I felt it in my stomach. Like I actually felt like I wanted to throw up. Like we needed to leave because I was feeling so nauseous, because my body was saying, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And it became where I became like almost physically nauseous. Now I've learned that when I feel that heavy feeling in my gut, that is when I need to listen to it, as opposed to it almost feels hamster wheel-ish in my solar plexus. That's just my own anxiety saying, oh, I'm not sure about this, or I'm afraid of this, or whatever. So you learn to find it in your body. What I'm hearing is that you can actually ask, where do I hear my intuitive messages? Where do I hear my intuitive messages? And you can actually just ask that, take a moment. In fact, let's do it. Let's do it as a practice. So close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and just take a moment and ask, where do I hear my intuitive messages? Where do I hear my intuitive messages? So I'm going to give you a second, and then I'll tell you what I'm hearing. All right. If you want to share, you're more than welcome. For me, when it's messaging like this, like channeled messaging, it comes at me from my upper right side, always. When it's an intuitive message, like a warning or something, it's in my belly. Like it's this heavy feeling in my belly. And that's when it's a, hey, listen to this. This is a warning. I'd love to hear for you, because everybody's different. I can teach you what works for me, and it might not work for you. You have to find where it is in your body. But what I am hearing is the overwhelming advice as to how to learn to listen to your intuition is get to know where you have certain sensations in your body. How does it feel? Fabulous. For me, intuition feels calm while anxiety feels fast. I agree. For me, when it's anxiety, it feels like I said the hamster wheel going zzz. Whereas when it's true intuition, it feels kind of heavier. It has a density almost to it, where it's like just settles in. Not heavy as in bad, but just sort of settles in, as opposed to the hamster wheel. Absolutely. I'm similar, Jay. And Fennel, left shoulder. Fabulous. If that's where you feel it, almost like that guide on your shoulder. That's what I'm getting for you. Fennel is almost that sort of guide that's sitting on your shoulder there. Absolutely. Wherever you feel it, there's no right or wrong. Intuition, so Jenny, for me, comes as a knowing, while anxiety comes as questions. 100%. That's a great way of describing it. Fabulous. Actually, I think this is really, I just saw Jackie said this is helpful. This is helpful. I only have my experience. I can only tell you where I feel it in my body. The wisdom I'm getting in terms of channeling how to find your intuition or look for or hear your intuition is that it's in your body, that you feel it in your body. So I would love to hear anyone else have any insight in terms of where does that intuition come in your body? Where do you feel it? Because it can be different for everybody. I met one person once I worked with where they felt their intuition was their hands tingling. And when they felt their hands tingling, they knew that they were getting some kind of message. And I was like, oh, that's it doesn't matter where it is. It's a matter of learning to listen. Okay. And Frank, I just know. I don't need to feel it. I just know it. That's wonderful. It's clairsentience. Wonderful. Awesome. So that's what I'm hearing is if you're not sure, listen to your body. I'm just going to ask, is there any other particular messaging for right now at this moment in time? Okay, so what I got as an image, first of all, was like somebody making like a soup or a stew. And a soup or a stew with just one ingredient isn't going to taste very good, If you just have some water, it's not going to be very good soup or stew. Even two ingredients, it's not going to be super good. And what I saw was this pot, this simmering pot, and it was being filled with all kinds of different ingredients. And when I asked, what is that? What I'm hearing is that diversity is so important right now. Why is it important? All right. So what I'm hearing is that diversity, so different opinions, different ways. Oh, okay, I understand. I just got hit with, okay. So I was just asking everybody feeling it and in differently in their bodies, right? That there isn't just one way of doing it. I have my way of doing it. You have your way of doing it, but there isn't just one way of doing it. Same with when we started talking, this just went full circle. When we started talking about clearing, there's not just one way of clearing. Maybe your practice is to smudge. That's one way of clearing. There's lots of other ways of clearing. What I'm hearing is that idea of knowledge is power and diversity of your knowledge. Spend time investigating. What do other people think about things? How do other people react to things? What are other people doing in order to clear or intuitively know or just understand? If we all thought only one way, right, there'd be no growth. There'd be no advancement. There'd be no, like, if we just stayed with status quo. Yep, this is how I do it. Okay, hearing to tell, I'm getting like rushed with information here. So diversity, this is our topic. Hearing to tell you a story. In that my mom taught me to fold towels. My job as a kid when we did laundry was to fold the towels and my dad's hankies, but I had to fold towels. And she had a particular way about to fold the towels. And then as an older adult, we were talking and I was saying that, the way my closet is, the way she folded the towels didn't work. And she's like, I only folded the towels that way because I had a really narrow closet. And I was like, oh, okay. Mine works better. But and it made me realize that I had learned that way of folding towels because that's the way it worked for the particular closet that she had. That wasn't the right way to fold towels. But I had it in my head that that was the right way to fold towels. And I've heard that story lots of times. There's another story similar to that where there's like a monastery where there's a cat that was particularly annoying. And every time they went to, as I look up at my cat right now, as they went to sit and meditate, they'd tie up this cat because the cat would like bother them while they were meditating. Well, they did that every day, and it kind of became almost like a ritual where they'd like tie up this cat. Then that cat passed away, so then they tied up a different cat, and like years passed, and they had until finally someone said, "Why do we tie up a cat before we meditate?" And it actually had nothing to do with the meditation. It had nothing to do with the ritual. It was just something that was done because that's the way it was done, and because it had been done so long, people hadn't questioned that that's how it was done. So I am hearing. On that note, this isn't about a rally of like, do things differently, but it's about spend time to get to know why do people do things a certain way, and then integrate that in terms of what makes the most sense for me. If clearing for me is visualizing a white blue light swirling counterclockwise, fabulous. I'm actually hearing to tell you a story about that. So when I first started working with my mentor, so when I was in my, I'm going to say late 30s, I had an experience where someone who had passed away kind of popped into my head, and it scared me. I'd never done kind of medium work like that before. It was not something I was interested in doing. It scared me. I went to work with a mentor. Anyway, so that I could understand my gifts a little bit more. As we were working together, I was describing to her this white blue light that swirls around me counterclockwise and what it feels like. And it feels like it's kind of like a laser sort of cutting away everything that doesn't serve me and cleansing. And she right away went, oh, that's Archangel Michael. And for her, that was how she identified that cleansing, clearing, and balancing figure. So for me, I didn't name it as Archangel Michael. It was the energy that swirled around me and cleansed and cleared and balanced. It doesn't matter what the name was, right? We have our own specific experience with things. And so I'm hearing, trust your own specific experience with things, but take the time to get to know what other people's experiences are. How are other people doing it? Because there might be just one thing that triggers in you and goes, oh, actually, that really works for me. I could do that. Recently, I learned about sigil magic, I'm hearing to tell you, where people like create their own sort of sigil. And I decided to give it a little try and just create my own. And I actually have it written on my arm. I don't know if I actually can't see it unless I turn. I wrote it on my arm. And it's amazing how it served as a reminder for what I created that sigil for. And does it work for everybody? Nope. Is it particularly like some kind of magic that no. Is it just a visual reminder of what I want to keep in mind? Probably, but who knows, right? I learned that practice from someone and went, hey, I'm going to try that. So allow yourself to learn from others and allow yourself to question, am I doing this way because it's the way I've always done it? Is it still the best way for me? And allow yourself to explore those things. So I'm just gonna check the chat because I feel like it's been like do, and I haven't looked at it for a minute. Melinda, oh, you're so sweet. I wanted to share that I had my first session with Nancy. And definitely not my last this week. And it was so amazing. Everyone who can might want to look into it. I'm so very grateful for everything learned. You're so sweet. At that, I learned how to do this. Check it out. If you want to follow me, hold on. Did that work? Did everyone see a like a little thing that said to follow me if you want to? I just learned how to do that. Did it work? Okay, yay! I just learned that. Now, if I exit, does it go away? Okay, anyway. Thank you, Melinda. You're really sweet. Okay, hold on. And I'm gonna, what else? I often see color over my heart, like a green for yes. And oh, I love it. Red for no. That's cool, Johnny. That's amazing. I feel a heat sometimes for no and a coolness for yes when there's something that I'm trying to figure out. That's very cool. I like that. This is so helpful. Fabulous. Feel it in upper right arm. Feel my chest. Feel tingles all over. Often I feel tingles over. What you describe. Hold on. Yolita. Now with my little card here, though, I can't actually see. Oh, there we go. Okay. What you described, Nancy, about feeling nauseous is your full body no. Yes. Have had the exactly same heavy feeling and sick. My intuition takes over my whole body. I just do things without thinking, and it's a full body yes. Absolutely. Yeah, that nausea was like, get out now. Yes, it's the knowing. I really like hearing that in terms of celebrating all the different cultures of the people we have here in our country. Absolutely. It's so special, so precious, such a gift for all of our learning and expansion. 100%. And not just cultures, but different people. I have been making an effort to get to know people that I wouldn't normally have sat down with. And I've been fascinated with what I've been learning from them. And sometimes it's almost serendipitous when I start talking to them. It's like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Oh, and Molly just listened to the cat story last night. Cool. Where did you hear it? I heard it years and years ago, and I don't even know where I heard it. I'd love to hear where you heard it. Johnny, those colors in your heart sound super clear. Yes and no answers. Leaves no doubt. Absolutely. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Kate said, I second that. I have had a few readings with Nancy. Super awesome. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you. I don't advertise on Insight Timer because that's one of the things that they have in their mandate in terms of their lives is that we don't advertise. But I'm perfectly happy accepting if people have positive things to say in my chat. I love how heart-based those answers are. Wonderful. If somebody else is hurt or in pain, I'll feel it in my body. Me too, Jenny. When it's severe, my secretary suffers from migraines at my school, and I'll come into school and I'll right away feel this like, oh, and I'm like, before I even see her, I'm like, how's your head today? It's just like, oh, yeah, it's and then I have to block it out, right? Because that's not mine. It's not mine to feel. All right, let me hear if there's any other messaging that we need to take a listen to. All right. Well, there's a couple things that came. So, I know we talked about this last week because I had the image I'm sure, or something, but I remember having this image again in my head where I've done a lesson at school where I have like spaghetti and I gave everyone a spaghetti, and it's super easy to snap a spaghetti when it's just one, but you put a whole bunch of spaghetti together and you try and snap it, it's not as easy. You can do it if you work hard, but it's not as easy to do. And it's that idea of strength in numbers and solidarity. And that's what I'm hearing right now is find your people. What I'm hearing is that there are forces, is the word that I'm hearing, forces at work that are seeking to divide, seeking to oppress, seeking to remove. Now, I'm not talking government forces and whatnot, although in many places that is happening. I'm talking energetic forces, that there's actually energetic forces that are trying to separate us, that are trying to make us feel like we are alone in all of this. And what I'm hearing is that we are not alone. Number one, we are always connected to divine source consciousness. We're always connected to collective consciousness. We are always connected energetically to each other. We have a group of people here right now listening. We are all energetically connected, but it's also about finding your people. If you are feeling particularly alone right now, for whatever reason, I am hearing to tell you that you are not alone, that we are okay. So, all right, interesting. I'm hearing to share this with you. So, this is like, okay, revealing. I work in a Catholic school system. I am not a practicing Catholic at this point in my life. I was when I first got hired. I am not anymore. I was asked to speak about my faith journey to a group of assistant principals. And I was really nervous about that because I am not practicing, and this is a Catholic organization. So I was very nervous about that. But then I heard I was about to say, no, I can't do that. But then I heard loudly, you're supposed to, you need to do this. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I was actually given my entire talk, what I was supposed to say. And part of it was that I am not practicing at the moment, but that I am still very, very connected to that divine source. And the story that was relayed to me, and this is what I'm hearing to tell you. So the story that was relayed to me to share was, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the footprints in the sand story. So the footprints in the sand story is a story I grew up on. Going to church and whatnot. And the idea is that someone is talking to God and saying, or to Jesus, depending upon the story rendition, but they are talking to God and they are looking at their life and they see two sets of footprints, and then they see one set of footprints, and then they see two sets of footprints. And as they are looking, they're saying, the single set of footprints was the time when I was the lowest in my life. How come you abandoned me? And at that point, God or Jesus says, at that point, I didn't abandon you. I was carrying you. Well, we know that part of the story. What came to me when I was asked to do this talk was that we hear about that I'm carrying you during those times, but we forget that there is also a certain degree of 2 feet, 2 footsteps walking beside you all the time. And in the talk, I shared some times where, for example, my foster daughter came into my life. She was 16, and people were like, oh, you're so great for taking. Actually, it was the other way around. She was the gift that was given to me and ended up supporting my family through some really difficult times because she had experience. She had this knowledge. So those 2 footprints are those scenarios where things are coming into our life that serve us later. And sometimes it's knowledge. Sometimes it's community. Sometimes it's a diverse way of thinking. Sometimes it's the call to show up here and be on something like this and hear this particular message at this particular time. But to recognize that we are not alone and that we are being guided and walked with the whole time, regardless of your faith. If you are religious, perhaps it's God or Jesus or whatever names you call it. Maybe it's our higher self. Maybe it's divine source energy. It doesn't matter. Just like we were talking, this is going totally full circle back to the first bit of messaging, is that it doesn't matter what the name is. Learn what other people call it. For me, the swirling energy was just blue-white light. To my mentor, it was Archangel Michael. Does it matter that we didn't call it the same thing? No, we connected to that energy. Does it matter that we call that something bigger than us that's walking with us, God, Jesus, Allah, higher self, divine consciousness, the universe? It doesn't matter. What it is the messaging that we are not alone in this journey, and we are being guided in many ways. All right, anything else? Because I feel like that was kind of the end of that messaging. I was so nervous when I did that talk, more nervous than I've been. I like public speaking. I don't mind public